Let me say that again. On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler.
And all of the Bitcoiners there.
He's like, wow, I didn't know that guy was so unpopular.
Bitcoin. All right.
Bitcoin.
So what's new there?
Okay, first of all, I got to say, new all-time highs this week. I think it's very, very exciting for us OGs that have been out here waiting for this to pop off. It's been going sideways accumulation phase for since February. So, like 9 months of sideways action for Bitcoin, just oscillating back and forth. It finally did break this kind of sideways action. And I think leading up to the news on the election and things like that, right now we're at all-time highs. Reminder, like, subscribe, and go check out our all-time high videos. They're a good time. It's got a mixture of a bunch of different memes and set to some music. So you got to go pump it up. But there's a reason for this. Okay. So obviously we covered some of the things leading up to the election where Trump did make some promises about Bitcoin and crypto in general. He was at the Nashville Bitcoin conference and he spoke there, and he made a lot of announcements there about what he was going to do if he did become president.
I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin.
So we're going to cover just like the top 10-ish things that Trump said he would do if he became president for Bitcoin, which is causing all this excitement and the price going up, among other things. We knew Bitcoin was going to go up, but this might accelerate it just a little bit.
So yeah, exactly. I think that either way, right? If Democrats will win, I think that it will also. There's some things that it was happening in the banking industry, right? Like you have the BlackRock with the ETFs, and you have the options coming in, which kind of will allow any other hedge funds to start playing. So all of that was already in motion even before the election. So yeah, excited. One of the ones that I'm excited is as well the kind of the reserve, the national reserve, right? 1 million BTC, which is a lot. Remember, there's only like 21 mils, but with all of them Bitcoins that they have been lost in wallets, and why not? It's like and plus all of the Satoshi. I think the Satoshi has also 1 million, right? So and they haven't moved. So basically, probably he's just not gonna move them anymore. So maybe about what, 18 millions?
Maybe, yeah.
Bitcoins?
Think about all the diamond hands that are out here. Your BlackRock's, they got diamond hands. Michael Saylor has diamond hands. Satoshi has diamond hands. They're all going to hold on to their Bitcoin. A lot of the OGs have diamond hands. They're holding on to their Bitcoin.
Yep.
So the supply shock is here. And by that, I mean like, hey, there's people are shocked. Where's all the supply? That's a supply shock. It's like, it's drying up. So when someone wants to buy some, you're going to have to pay a premium just because it's going and going with all the ETFs, especially. So
Yep.
Add on top of that, the US buying Bitcoin every day, similar to what the ETFs are doing right now, that will certainly have some upward price pressures.
And remember, the government doesn't even have to buy it yet. Sometimes it's just easing because, yeah, there were bad actors. We have been here in this industry for a while, and that kind of always pisses me off. Like, oh, Bitcoin is for criminals. Like, actually, you can even track the wallets and what is happening with the money, right? So you could even do some things. Yeah, sure, there is some privacy that you don't know who owns a specific wallet, but the ones that like you can track every single like Satoshi, right? So I'm interested on that one because I feel that will give a lot of strength to the whole economy, banks, companies, right? So if the government is doing it, very likely also companies will start replicating the same thing as Sailor did, right? Maybe instead of putting their cash, they'll use almost like their saving account. So they'll keep their cash that they have there, they'll keep it on those reserves. And I think that at some points, obviously, the price will stabilize. is still going to go up compared to the dollar that is actually deflationary, right? It's going to go to almost like Argentina, right? Losing 90% of the value. If you don't believe me, look at just the 120 years before, right? Like the dollar has been losing value year over year. So that one is an interesting one.
Yeah. So you might think, okay, what is a national reserve going to do, or what exactly is it? So, national reserve would be just very similar to how the government used to have gold. They used to have a gold reserve where they could say, okay, we're we're giving dollars out, but we're backing it up in gold. So your dollar represents an actual bit of gold. That's not the case anymore, obviously, for the last, 50 or so years. But the thought behind that is that the government will have a reserve of Bitcoin, and that will represent the strength of the government, the strength of the economy, things like that. I think there's some other plans that they've talked about, perhaps using this reserve of Bitcoin to help pay off some of the debt and things like that that the U.S. currently has, because it has trillions of dollars, right, and adding trillions yearly, just because of the current interest rates and things like that that it has, to try and pay that off. So there's some strategic things that you can do with this, but the key point here, I think, just in general for Bitcoin and the price and things like that, is that the U.S. government will likely be daily buyers here. Right now, Bitcoin mining only produces a certain amount of Bitcoin every day. That's already being bought up by ETFs. Adding another buyer, you're having to split that even more. So there's only so much Bitcoin to go around, and the big buyers are coming around, and they're going to be buying it every day. And again, once the U.S. does it, there's going to be a lot of other countries around the world that are going to be like, you know what, we got to do it. It's the whole game theory too there.
Mhm.
It's gonna start this domino effect.
Yeah, and there are a couple things that are easy for the government to do. Number one is to free Ross Ulbricht, the
Right.
guy from Silk Road. Yeah, he did a couple things there that he enabled bad actors, right, to start using like Bitcoin as a exchange for like drugs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that maybe the guy pay his sentence. Like maybe that one is one of those that it will be easy for the government to pardon him. The other
Mm-hmm.
one that is actually also easy to do is like Gensler, Gary Gensler, just pack your shit and GTFO from here.
Let me say that again. On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler.
And all of the Bitcoiners there.
He's like, wow, I didn't know that guy was so unpopular.
And then he said it again, right? So just for those that you guys don't know, uh, that guy is kind of the head of the SEC, which is the organization that regulates a lot of the trading commission, right? Secretary of Exchange Commission, and and the guy has been just as obstructive. Even sometimes they're asking him questions about, hey, why you're doing this, right? What uh, people is trying to understand the reasoning behind it. And you know what? Maybe right now it's a little bit more of a. My thinking is like, maybe somebody has something on him, like some blackmail.
Politics. Yeah, there's something, right? But either way, he's not going to be there for long. So that's obviously going to be a bright spot for a lot of the policy and the regulations and the clarity for all the businesses that are trying to work in the crypto space. If he's out the door, hopefully someone that is actually interested in creating policy that actually helps will get put into its place, and the whole industry will benefit from that.
Yeah. And there are a couple others, right? Like preventing the CBDC. I think that Trump, he has been saying that he wants to make America great again, which is, a dollar, just keep dollar. It's going to be interesting how he's going to intertwine Bitcoin through with the dollar. But yeah, for sure, I don't think that he is going to try to keep going with the CBDC, which is the coin, the government coin, right?
Yeah. And I think very, very important in all this, he recognizes the need for privacy and for promoting your own custody, right? So we've always said before, not your keys, not your coin. So he's going to make sure that if you don't want to have your Bitcoin on an exchange, or if you don't want to have go through Schwab or something to go buy your Bitcoin, or buy an ETF. If you just want to hold it, you can hold it yourself. So I think that's something very, very important. And they even talked about things like you don't have to pay capital gains whenever you buy using Bitcoin. So all of these things that have been question marks in the past for Bitcoin in terms of clarity. How can I use it? How can it be used? When do you pay taxes? Things like that. A lot of that is going to become a lot more clear. And I think he's already said in his first 100 days, he's going to have a crypto committee or a Bitcoin committee stood up or put in place so that all of these things can be clarified. It can be put on paper. It can make sure that everybody knows what to do and everyone's playing by the same rules. So I think that's going to be great for the whole industry.
It's about time, man. It's like we have been asking for that. It's like, just give us some clarity. How do you want me to report in my freaking
Yeah.
IRS statement, right? So it's like, it's great. This is all good news. I know that sometimes the hardcore Bitcoiners is like, no, this is against what Satoshi wanted. It's like, no, bro. I mean, you have to get regulated. In that way, there is less problems like FTX, right? And all of these different hacks. Then you might be able to even get some loans against your Bitcoin, because guess what? Sometimes the bankers, they call it dead money. And the reason why they call it dead money is because you cannot do much with the Bitcoin, because guess what? Hodlers, they don't want to sell it. But if nobody wants to lend you against it, then it's like you cannot get cash flow, you cannot get loans, you cannot get all of dividends, right? So it's like literally just dead money. So all of these regulations will allow us to be able to even live out of our own Bitcoin, right? So it's good. It's good for the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think so. All this to say, like, there is very, very positive movement in the space in the U.S. now. At least that's what folks are expecting. Trump has already said he wants to make the U.S. or America number one in Bitcoin in the whole world. So he wants this funny thing. He wants Bitcoin to be made in America, and by that he means he wants mining to occur in America. So he wants all the Bitcoin to be American made. So obviously they're going to start looking at policies and things like that for mining. Of course, with that comes like energy requirements. So I think they're even looking at nuclear and things like that to help not just power Bitcoin mining and crypto mining, things like that, but also even AI and things like that. So I think all of these technologies are kind of culminating together. And so this is going to be very, very interesting what actually comes out for all of this. Pretty interesting things here.
Yeah, I mean, and we're trying to always stay away from politics in the pod. Kind of very hard, because a lot of these things are like highly political, right? Regulations and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but it's something that, for me, that is interesting on these past couple of weeks. We live in Texas. Um, it actually kind of Trump's makes this thinking of America is great, right? And even his slogan, let's make America great again, right? So you can start seeing people again trying to wear the shirt like, yeah, and I'm American, right? So um, it's a I like that sense of patriotism, right? Like people is looking into that. My daughter, she was a costume for Halloween. She has one of those blow up costumes about a bald eagle, and then she
Uh-huh.
put a flag, American flag, right? She was born here, and it's like everyone was loving it, man. I mean I didn't thought about it, right? Well, she just did it, but like we were like on the streets, like, yeah, America, yeah. It's like, yeah, go America. And there was a couple people like, is that a chicken? No, it's a whole eagle, right? but yeah, my point here is that people again is like again believing on the country, believing that the American dream, which basically this is what this country is all about, right? The American dream. All right, man.
Right.
I think that we have a good one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good here. I think for those of y'all, if y'all enjoyed the content today, just remember to like, subscribe, and comment. We love to hear from y'all. I'll do my plug also for our all-time high videos. Go check them out. And I also want to mention that we've got a new channel sponsor, CT Mods. They are having an early Black Friday sale where if you've got a Cybertruck, they also do things for some of the other Teslas, but if you got a Cybertruck, you can get up to 30% off on some of those things. We're trying to see what we can get in here so we can show you some of their stuff. But go check them out. Our code is MEX22. I think we'll get like a 5% cut or something like that. So every bit helps to support the channel. But I think that's all we've got for today. Dale.
Dale.